is a blast piloting a toy like this around. Let those other champions know. They better eat their gravel if they want to keep up with Daruk. Speaking of which, can you believe this view? Just look at all those delectable rocks sprinkled on those mountains. Mighty tasty.
Is he a nutcase? No, he's a rock biter. A rock biter. A rock biter?
Hello, Goros and Girl Rose. This is Bender with ShortPause.com, and you're listening to episode 6 of the Spoilercast for Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild that we're calling Playing by the Hyrules. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Death Mountain and the Divine Beast Vah Rudania Dungeon. With me, as always, I have Frankie from Short Pause, and I have JD from the Play and Listen Gaming Podcast. JD, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, my friend?
Not too bad, man.
Make sure you've been drinking your fire elixir so you don't burn up in that sweltering weather out over in the west by you.
Oh, man. Yeah, definitely. That's definitely vital. But yeah, it's good to be with you guys again to talk about this stuff. And Frankie, how you doing?
Well, I'm doing all right. It's been a good week.
I feel like we just did this, but maybe I'm just imagining.
I don't know. It's deja vu, maybe. I don't know, but it's been a good week. Every week is a good week, right?
Yeah,
This is true.
For sure.
Good time to be alive and gaming.
So we all saved this Divine Beast for last because the volcano is scary, and I didn't want to go there right away. So, as we talked about
Death
before,
Mountain, Bender. Death Mountain.
exactly. You know what's waiting for you if you go there too early.
Exactly.
Okay. So anyway, as we talked about before, if you go into the Death Mountain area and you're not equipped properly, you are going to catch on fire. So that's not very fun. That's very
literally
painful.
catch on fire.
You are literally going to burst into flames.
Which is different than just being in a too hot, region that's too hot. There's a difference between fire burning, like catching on fire, and just being hot, which I found out the hard way.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I think I did the same thing. I think I tried taking some of the heat reduction elixir, and it didn't work.
No.
It doesn't work so much. So you actually have to fight to obtain some fireproof elixir, which is different. So I don't know if you guys did the same thing, but I tried going in there, and I was like trying to look around to see what I could find out or how I could figure out how to keep from catching on fire. So I looked at the map and I saw there's a stable kind of down the road from the Goron City. So I was like, well, maybe there's somebody at the stable who knows what to do or could give me a clue or something. Fortunately, there is a girl there you can talk to at the stable who tells you the ingredients to make a fire elixir. She even sells you some, and she tells you, you can make your own if you can find these fireproof lizards and I forget what the other, flint or something. I can't remember what the other ingredient was. Or maybe it's just the lizard. I don't know. Oh no, it's the lizard and monster parts. That's all you need.
I don't think I've ever made one. I think I just bought them all.
Oh really? Yeah, you can make them too. You have if you find those lizards and cook them with some monster parts. So
I only made one.
Mm-hmm. Oh really?
It lasted for like 16 minutes. I was like, nah, this is fine. It'll be fine.
I think I bought like 1 or 2 from her, and then I made like 3 or 4 of my own, and I didn't end up using all of those because by then you can get the armor that you need. So you get this, you get these potions from this girl. You can kind of head up the road towards the mountain, but once you reach a certain point, it gets way too hot, and if you don't have the elixir, you're going to catch on fire. So make sure you chug your elixir. One of the cool things.
Wait, are you going to talk about your weapons?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, also, if you're carrying any wood shields, weapons, swords, they'll catch on fire. Just flat out catch on fire.
Yeah, you'll start taking damage if you have a flaming shield on your back.
Yeah, and your arrows are automatically fire arrows.
Yeah, don't shoot bomb arrows. By the way.
Oh
yeah.
my god, yes.
Pro tip.
Yeah.
I learned that the hard way.
I keep doing it. I still do it, even though I know.
I still do it. Yep.
Yeah, you even pull. It doesn't even take but a second. You even pull out a bomb arrow if you're in that area. It immediately explodes in your face.
Yeah.
And I did it like several times in a row because I was trying to. Because it happens once, and I was like, oh man. So I tried to switch arrows, but so what I normally do is I pull out the arrow and then I switch it to a different arrow. And I tried that several times, not learning my lesson. And I pulled out the arrow and it blew up in my face. I was like, okay, I'm going to switch arrows. I pulled it out, blew up in my face again. And I think I even did it a third time before I realized, okay, I'm going to have to go into my menu, switch to a different arrow, and then then I'll be good. But another cool thing about the volcano area is if you pull out some meat, throw it on the ground, it'll start to cook.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Just you don't need a pan. You just throw it on the ground. It'll become seared meat, which is pretty cool. Unfortunately, you still need a pot to like cook things like together, like ingredients together. I tried that. I pulled out like all the ingredients I needed to make a dish, and I threw them all on the ground, and they all just individually started cooking. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
It did make the little the little tune for cooking. Do 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 do. But it's still pretty cool that you can just cook things on the ground. If you find some of the hot springs in the area, you can throw an egg in there and it'll become a boiled egg.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, like a poached egg, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's pretty awesome.
Nice.
So anyway, but when you finally get up to the Goron City, they do have a shop that sells fireproof armor that you can buy. There's a full armor set, helmet, chest armor, and legs. I ended up buying all 3 pieces, but I normally only wear the chest armor and the legs because that's sufficient to stave off the heat.
Yep, you only need
fire.
You only need 2, and they're expensive. So unless you're
Yeah,
a completionist, you really don't need all 3.
I still haven't bought that cosmonaut helmet yet.
The Bioshock suit.
It's a pretty stupid looking helmet. I usually don't wear. I have it, but I don't wear it.
And like
but,
the description,
again,
they're
'cause I
like
wanted the
boasting,
full
it's
set.
made out of rock. It's like, no, it looks stupid. Come on.
Exactly. So yeah, this divine beast, this one is shaped like a lizard, and he's like crawling around on the volcano, kind of wreaking havoc. And I guess apparently, according to the chief of the Gorons, apparently the lizard will sometimes get too close to the town, and they'll have to use a cannon to shoot at him to kind of scare him away and make him go back to the mountain. So the chief normally has his assistant, Yunobo is his name, and he's like the chief's helper, and he's the one who kind of serves as the cannonball, because he's a direct descendant of Daruk, the champion, the Goron champion. So he has the power of Daruk's protection. So he can put this shield around himself that you can use him as a cannonball to shoot at the divine beast to kind of scare him away. Unfortunately, at this point, Yunobo is missing. So the chief tasks you to go and find him. And he says, well, he went over to the abandoned North Mine to find some medicine for my back, because the chief's an old Goron with an eye patch and long gray hair, and his name is Bluto, which is like the guy from Popeye.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. And you have to go to the abandoned North Mine, and along the way are a couple of cannons that you can put one of your bombs in and shoot out a rock to there's like Lizalfo towers that you can knock down with the cannons, which is pretty cool. And once you finally find him, he's trapped in this. There was like a rock slide, and he's trapped behind the rocks in this cave. And you have to use a nearby cannon to shoot at the rocks to free him. So Yunobo is this young Goron with like a neckerchief that he wears.
Yeah, he's kind of goofy.
Yeah, he's kind of.
And he's a wuss
kid.
too.
Yeah, he's like kind of cowardly and everything. But anyway, you finally free him, and the two of you are supposed to go and kind of stop the divine beast. So he's going to help you get onto the divine beast so you can do your thing. So I think this was a really cool sequence where you have to kind of work your way up to the divine beast. So, I mean, you guys want to talk about that a little bit? Who wants to go first?
Do it up, Frankie.
Okay. So with this one, the first thing you have to do with him is lower this bridge. So the dude hops into a cannon, you fire him off into this bridge. The bridge falls down. So the area is being patrolled by these what are those? They're like airborne guardians.
They're like flying guardians that have these, like, red spotlights that they search around.
Yeah, if you take a picture of them, it tells you what they are. I forget what it was called though.
Yeah. So essentially because he doesn't move that fast, you have to kind of go ahead and kind of tell him like, go, stop, go, stop, and to try to get him without being seen by these patrolling airborne guardians. So this was actually an area where I utilized the hell's it called? Rivali's
Gale.
Yeah, Rivali's Gale.
Raviola's pasta.
Yeah, Ravioli's pasta. So I would shoot up, and there are these big metal boxes you could, use your magnet for. You just bump into these things flying around, and it would take them out. So I would go ahead, jump up, get a box. I tried to hold on to it because there are a couple times I kept dropping one off the side of the mountain because I'm dumb. But I tried to keep one nearby me so that as you're going through, you just kind of walk forward and bump these things, and you can take them out that way. It's actually pretty easy to do. So I would do that, run back, tell him to move up. So as you're moving up the mountain, there's 3 cannons that you are kind of getting him up to launch him into the Divine Beast to kind of scare it back up the mountain. So, dude, this is actually really cool. And JD, I'm going to just get up to the top of the mountain here. JD can take it away because I know he really enjoyed this part as well. So you get up there, you take all these things out, and you fire them, and then the lizard recedes into the volcano. So, JD, what happens next?
Yeah, I just so like the guy, what's his name again? Yunobo?
Yunobo?
Yeah, he's like, he's not per se like a coward, but he's very timid. He'll do what he has to do, but he really is kind of scared. And once you get him to the top, the whole idea is to get to the dungeon to fight. And he was kind of saying like, yeah, I'm gonna go along with you, and we're gonna redeem the Daruk and all that. And so what's Vah Rudania? Is that the chameleon thing name, the lizard thing? So Vah Rudania goes into the actual like cauldron of the volcano, and as soon as you get it's tricky to get up there, you kind of get the sense that you guys are going to take a breath and figure out how to approach it. Link just totally ignores that dude Yunobo, just jumps down right into the volcano and paraglides down, and Yunobo's just like no, like I don't think he says anything. It just shows his like big dumb like glazed over like Goron face, like just kind of like nope. So, it was cool. I liked that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole sequence was really cool. Because like to signal him, you have to use your whistle, which is normally what you use to call your horse. Mm-hmm. So you press down on your D-pad to like whistle at him to show him to come up, and whistle again to make him stop. And I remember one of the guardians was it wasn't moving; it was just kind of hovering like above, in between these two very tall rocks. So what I did for that one at least, I actually climbed up to near where the guardian was, and there's like a metal like slab, and I actually used my magnesis to cover up his searchlight.
Oh yeah, I did that too. Yep.
And then just walk underneath him and call Yunobo over, and then we just strolled on past.
I had mixed results with that.
Cool.
Just to say, I had mixed results with that. Didn't always work for me, but it did work some of the times.
That's actually how I learned to hit them with the stuff, is because I went to do that and I accidentally knocked the guardian with the slab, and I was like, oh, well, all right. I guess he's just one hit knocked these guys out, so whatever.
Nice. Yeah, I did get spotted a couple of times, and when you get spotted, the divine beast, the guardians will signal, set off an alarm, and the divine beast starts stomping around and causes like flaming rocks to fall from the sky, so you have to kind of hide and avoid getting hit. So yeah, but I thought this was one of the coolest approaches to the dungeons that I had seen so far. I thought that was really, really interesting and cool. So now we'll get into the dungeon itself. So when you finally get down there into the dungeon, one of the coolest things is that it's completely dark when you get in there. So you have to kind of find your way around. It's kind of difficult. I mean, there's a couple of torches, I think, or maybe there's one torch that you have to light to light other torches or something.
Yeah, there's a couple.
Yeah. So I think once you find the map, does it light up, or at one point does it?
Yeah. Once you finally navigate to where the slab is to activate the map, that like activates the entire interior, so all the lights turn on finally. Yeah.
So the whole way that this dungeon works is once you get that map, you can the dungeon will like turn like 90 degrees. So this lizard is level, and then you can turn him and he'll be kind of up on his side, and so the entire dungeon just turns 90 degrees, then you can turn it back. So that's the way this one works, and makes for some interesting puzzle solving, because you've got some chests that are on the side, like stuck to the wall, that you have to turn the lizard to kind of get up to it. And
the ball puzzle thing was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
The ball puzzle was cool. So yeah, there's this ball like kind of on the outside of the divine beast, so you have to kind of activate these torches along the way and move the lizard back and forth to get the ball to roll the right way, and it's like in this little ramp that it rolls down, and it finally gets into the the pedestal where it rests, and that opens a door, which was really cool. And then there's this one room with like these like flames shooting up. I was like, how do I get past that? But there's actually a wooden plank at the top of the ceiling that you have to shoot with a fire arrow to get a big metal box to drop down to cover over some of the flames, so you can get past. So that one was pretty cool. What else is there? Anything else you guys remember specifically from the dungeon?
And I don't know if I'm confusing this with the bird, but there was a room where you had a ball that you were trying to get into a spot to open a door, and you had to use like wind bursts from the side to blow the ball into like a set path.
Yeah, that
sure
one was in the bird.
Oh, it was in the bird?
That was in the bird, yeah.
Just edit that into the other episode, it's fine.
Yeah, I like this dungeon too, man. I liked how they mixed up the like burning of leaves and the ball puzzle and all that kind of stuff. I feel the same way. Like I like the dungeons. They're good in of themselves, but in reference to other Zelda games, I just feel like they fell a little short. This one I liked. I think this one and the Rito one were my favorite too, as far as the puzzles and the layout goes. But yeah, it was cool. I like the idea that you're inside of a volcano, and you need your fire protection, right? Like you can't, once you're inside, you'll still burn if you don't have it. So if you didn't get the armor and you thought you were going to be safe and just got the potion, like you're going to be on a timer. So I could see that being kind of frantic too, but it was good.
Yeah, it was the same with the bird, actually. I think that one was because you're up in the air. Like if you didn't have the right gear, you'd freeze.
Oh yeah, you were very cold.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's funny because for this one, for me, the ball puzzle especially, because you need to light a torch outside to like open that door for that ball to start moving. And I was running around that thing for like a good 3 or 4 minutes. Like that's obviously it was way longer than that. But I was like sitting here looking at this thing like, how the hell am I supposed to get this ball out of here? And then like, it finally dawned on me like, oh, that's one of the torch things. Okay, so then I went back, got pull out my torch, lit the flame, and ran out and finally lit the damn thing like that. That was the only thing I remember like being stuck on for a while. I was just trying to figure out how to get that ball out of there. But yeah, like you said, like this dungeon for me was just the coolest. Like you get in there, it's pitch black. There's just the blue glow of flame, over on the side. So like even lighting your flame and like going through, like there's still enemies that you're fighting in the dark, which was really cool. So you think you clear out an area, go back, light a torch, and then like I think there were a couple enemies I ran into in the next room, and I was just like, oh, I see the thing. I'm just gonna go light this, and then I'll go kill these guys. But it's cool, loved it.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool one. When I first went in there, I thought the whole time it was gonna be dark. I was like, oh, this is gonna suck.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
The other thing is, and this sucked. So you mentioned the puzzle where you had to drop down the big iron block from above to block the flames. Like when I had done that, I was sitting in a corner, and the way that the thing fell, it like blocked me into a corner. So like I couldn't. It was because it was like literally just me in the corner with this thing in my face. I couldn't use the magnet to push it away or anything. So I like had to sit here like trying to finagle my way out of this corner for like 2 minutes. Like I was freaking out. I was like, I'm gonna have to turn the game off and restart this because I'm dumb. I was standing in a really bad place because I figured, oh, well, I have to be right here when I do this, not realizing I could be standing off on the side and totally not die or anything. So
I did that a couple times too, for sure.
That was slightly frustrating, but that'll happen. Learning process.
So after you find all the terminals in this area, you go to the top of the lizard and you activate the main terminal, and you fight Fireblight Ganon, which was I thought it was a pretty cool boss fight. You know, he's shooting flames at you, kind of wail away at him. But then once you get him down to half health, the fight kind of changes, where he kind of zips around. He's like teleporting, like turning into a blue ball. Then he'll appear somewhere else, and he's kind of, you know, still shooting stuff at you. It took me a while to figure out what to do. I was like trying to, you know, shoot arrows at him, didn't work. So, I mean, you guys want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so this is actually another one that I was a trial and error thing, because I eventually ran out of arrows, because I have seen people use ice arrows on this, and I didn't have any on me. So naturally, of course, the one arrow that would probably have made sense to take into a fire dungeon I don't have. But yeah, so at some point, like, he's flying around and he's like doing this, I think it's a charge attack, but he's like sucking in all this air. So like I had remembered there was another encounter prior to this, like there's an enemy that sucks stuff up and you can throw stuff and he'll suck it up. So I tossed a couple bombs at him and that sort of knocks him out of the air. It was just like a trial and error thing, because I didn't know what else to do. I was looking around like, is there something I could throw at him? Like, what am I missing here? So yeah, tossing a bomb, and then he'll suck it up, and you just detonate him, and he'll knock him down. You go wail away at him. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. JD, any thoughts?
Yeah, I pretty much the same thing. It took me a little while to realize I kind of had to chuck the bomb at him, and what is it? I forget. Does he become invulnerable, or just shoots that giant bomb fireball thing at you? I forget.
I think he just shoots the fireball. Like he's not. Yeah, because you can hurt him with ice arrows if you have them.
Okay, right. That's right. Yep. Yeah, just same kind of thing. I liked him, but you know, in a vacuum, I thought he was cool, boss. But still, just wish they were a little more unique and would have been a little more memorable. You know, I'm kind of disappointed that I kind of mixed them all up in my head. As far as the blight bosses go.
I feel like the main thing that just changes is the weapon that they're wielding. Like this one, he has a really cool like guardian flame sword.
Right. That's pretty much exactly the only difference between them.
And then, you know, like we talked about the last episode, he kind of had this gun he would shoot at you. So I know what you mean. Like they all look pretty much just these big ugly blobs.
There's like a story reason why like that we'll get to later, you know, in a future episode, I'm sure, but still, I feel like they could have, you know, it would have been cool to fight like a deformed Rivali or whoever, Daruk, and like you're freeing them. Like, you know, that would, I know they've kind of done that before. They did that in Twilight Princess with but like still, like
lava monster thing.
Right, like maybe you're fighting their like reanimated half mechanical, half flesh corpse like thing, and the spirit's trapped and you got to free it. Like I feel like they could have done something a little more unique and cool without having to go like break the bank to produce it. But you know, everything, hindsight's 2020. I'm, you know, not complaining. I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, I definitely see what you mean about the uniqueness of the bosses, but I think one big part of that is, you know, these dungeons, they don't have these specific items that you're collecting in each one. In all the other Zelda games, you have a specific item that you solve a lot of the puzzles with that item once you find it, and then you have to use that item to defeat the boss. So that makes each boss different, because you have to use that specific item from that dungeon to defeat that boss. And I think that they should have done something like that with this game, which I understand why they did it the way they did it, because you know they have to make it possible for anyone to go in any order to defeat these dungeons and not have to rely on specific items. But I think they could have come up with some other way to make it a little bit more unique and memorable.
So they could have still have made it to where you get your main runes like you get when you're on the plateau, and that you can technically get anywhere you want. But they could have still done some kind of when you're ready to finally initiate the Gerudo dungeon, you can still go in any order. There will be things you'll have to do to get a specific item for that boss, and even if it's just for the boss, even if it's just something I don't know, kind of like when you get the powers when you finally free the champion soul. You could have incorporated something like that, you free Rivali, or Rivali grant you his power. I keep saying Rivali, but I mean Daruk grant you his power in the beginning of the fight, and if you fail and leave, you don't have it, but then once you defeat it, he gives it to you permanently. There's things they could have done in that vein, or an item, a weapon that you can only that will only work on them, that you get in that dungeon, that also maybe has some puzzle abilities, like a sword that unlocks a certain door or something. They could. I think they could have gone a little more in that direction, and it would have been better. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I think they could have done something like that, and I think what I'm hoping is in the next game they do. I don't want them to go back to the traditional Zelda formula, but I would like for them to have more unique dungeons with the specific type of item that you get in each one, and then to even have some of the overworld puzzles that you have to have that specific item.
Sure.
I don't think that would have been a huge problem if they did something like that.
No.
No,
definitely not.
For example, I mean, the boomerang, for example. I mean, they could have things that you have to hit, throw the boomerang to hit something from at a distance, and if you don't have the boomerang, well, you're gonna have to come back and do that later, because you're gonna have to explore until you find that item, and then you can come back and do that thing. I think they could have done something like that, and that would have given more meaning to some of the dungeons and given you more opportunities for cool puzzle solving things like that.
So in Ocarina of Time, you can go to a lot of places, but there are areas you just can't even go to without the item. So I get why they didn't want to do that, right? For making it not linear. They wanted to get rid of that linear hand-holding stuff. But there's also, when you're a child Link and you find Saria in the Lost Woods, she's sitting in front of what ends up being the Forest Temple. And there's an opening there, and there's a way to get in there, but you can't yet. You can get there. That creates such mystery and excitement that I think they're missing in that sense. They could have worked that in better, just like you're saying. So you could still go anywhere, and you can still do the dungeons when you want. It just until you do that dungeon, there's going to be certain things that are basically unachievable. And the game kind of already did that, because if your stamina's not high enough, or if you don't have enough health, there are areas you really can't do anything about,
Yeah, that's true.
But we're nitpicking, man. I mean, overall, I didn't find myself thinking about that very often.
Yeah. And we'll get into more of our final thoughts in future episodes, but
sure.
It's interesting to talk about, though. But yeah, kind of moving on, after you finally defeat Fireblight Ganon, you get to see the Goron champion Daruk, and he is totally dead. And
like the King of Hyrule.
Like the King of Hyrule, and Urbosa, and Rivali, and Mipha. They're all dead. And he gives you his... But he gives you his ability, which you had already seen up to this point, because Yunobo had it. It's called Daruk's Protection, which anytime you're holding L, which you will a lot because it's the way you target enemies, but anytime you're holding L, you get this shield around you, and I think up to 3 times it'll completely negate any damage from one attack, which is really cool, because if you're bad at combat and you have
Frankie,
you want to turn that on, and Frankie could have used that for the first boss.
True.
In
I should have said
dungeon.
Frankie in the beginning.
I got good.
Dude, I saw this sweet compilation like tribute to the Hero of the Wild video on YouTube that was sweet, man, of somebody like doing some really badass combat in Breath of the Wild. It's a really sweet video.
I'm gonna guess that shortpause.com like highlighted that last week.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. That's where I saw it, on your guys' website.
Yeah.
All over some epic music and stuff, and
some play and listen. I don't know. They're new.
yeah, it's some derby dirtbag plowing.
Yeah.
You know what?
Some guy with a big nose.
Yeah, with a big schnaz, with a Rito beak nose, but the
Rito beak.
Anyway, I'm being a smartass. But one of the cool things in that video, like Daruk's protection, like you don't notice it necessarily when you're in the middle of combat, but like, and this happens with all of them. Their spirit will come out like while you're initiating the thing, and like it's so cool. He like kind of grunts and like bears his chest forward to like protect you, and he's like, "Ho!" and like I don't know, it's really cool looking.
Yeah, that part is pretty cool when that happens. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's probably my, I don't know. I don't know what order I would put them in. I mean, last time we talked about Rivali's Gale, and that's my favorite. I think my second favorite is probably a tie between Mipha's Grace and Daruk's Protection. Those are both very useful in combat. Urbosa's Fury is cool, but I never use it.
Right.
It's just not something I ever use. I don't know what situations I would ever use it, but
I use that one a lot too, actually. Like that one,
Do you?
if I was outnumbered anyway, like if I was like up on a mountain somewhere, so I had like lower level gear I had equipped. Like anytime like I got surrounded, I would do that on, because you get like a group of those big lizard dudes on you.
mm-hmm.
You do that, zap them. Like I go take one of them out, and the other guy's still over there getting fried. So I use that a lot. I think I actually used it in the other dungeons too. Like there's certain enemies that I just figured, screw it, I'll just zap them. It'll be fine. Might have even tried doing that when I was trying to figure out how to attack Fireblight Ganon when he was doing the thing before I figured out to throw a bomb at him. I tried doing that too.
Are the powers eliminated for the dungeons?
I don't.
Or is that just the shrine?
Oh wait, you know what? Maybe they are.
I don't remember.
Maybe you're right.
I don't remember. I know they're eliminated for the combat or the shrines in general. I don't remember if they're eliminated in the dungeon.
Oh no, they're not eliminated in the dungeon because Mipha's Grace is always like I've been saved a couple times by that.
I just couldn't remember.
Yeah, they're definitely deactivated in the shrines because like in the combat shrines you don't get Mipha's Grace.
Nope.
If you have a fairy, you'll get revived by it, but it's Mipha's Grace does not take effect.
Mipha's Grace doesn't work in shrines. That's my second favorite one, except I don't want to hear her say that. Creepy Mipha's Grace is ready. So,
I wanted just to mute the game audio and just be really loud like, Mipha's Grace is ready.
Ugh, she creeps me out, man. With her fish scale. Ugh.
Don't worry, Link. Mipha's Grace is ready.
I'll always be here for you.
I like the way Daruk does it, though. He's like, Daruk's protection is ready to roll.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's yeah. And when it activates, like he makes like a grunt, like a cool grunt. Urbosa's just blah. She's all right. She's just like,
I like Urbosa. Her power is not the best, but
no,
I like
she's
her.
cool.
I think
her voice though,
she might be my favorite champion actually.
She's cool. Her voice though is just a little. I don't know.
She'll break you in half. You watch what you're saying.
She's a little. Maybe that's what it is. She's a little too butch for me, but that's all right.
I don't know. I think you're into that.
They're all like that. They're all just Amazonian, women. They're all just huge muscle-bound freaks. But I don't know.
You could do your laundry on her abs.
Dude, I could.
I think I've seen one Gerudo girl that did not have washboard abs, besides Rihu.
What, the old lady?
No. Well, I guess not the old
ladies.
ladies. Yeah, I think there's been one. I don't remember where she was or what she was doing. I think I've seen one, young Gerudo woman who did not have the washboard abs.
She's in training.
Is she the one
Maybe.
who's teaching, like, giving the sex ed class in the dungeon at the palace?
That.
No, because I've never found that class. I haven't done that.
Class. It was weird. JD was.
You need to find it. There's some funny stuff in there. You'll laugh. And the weird, creepy mannequins that I don't want to know what they're practicing with on.
Well, now that I'm doing all the side quests or trying to, I'm definitely gonna go back and try to find that.
That reminds me, I wanted to say this before I forget. So we, in the last episode, you asked if I did all the shrines, and I did. But I did not do all the shrine quests. Some of them I figured out without them, and I'm wondering if I can't do them now or if they're still available.
No. If you've already done them, because I ran into this a couple times when I ended up getting some. But if you've already done it, you'll get the quest, and if you talk to that person again, you've already been there. That's cool, and then it'll complete.
It'll still initiate it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it'll still initiate and then complete. It's one of those things.
Okay,
it's pretty cool.
Like I was talking about with on a previous episode, I was talking about the Great Fairy Fountain. Like I had already found it, and then a guy told me that he wanted me to go find it, and I was like, "Well, I already found it." And this was like, "Oh, okay." So it said quest complete.
I meant more like because all 100, because I did the whole shrine, like I did all of them. I didn't know if maybe that kind of stopped it from being possible.
Nope.
So
I don't think so.
I hope not. Yeah, because that would suck if I couldn't complete all those.
Nah.
I got a tricky one I'm trying to
fine.
figure out now, a side quest that I have to cook like cake for this character, but I don't know which one, and I don't know how to initiate it, so I'm trying to figure that out without using the guide.
Yeah. I think I have that one too. I haven't figured it out either.
Yeah.
All right. So, any final thoughts on the dungeon or the volcano area in general?
I liked it.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I liked it, and I like the Gorons. They're always cool, and Gorons seem to be able to get into the Gerudo town without a problem, and they're all
That is hilarious.
brothers. They're all bros. So like, what's going on there?
When you're talking to the Gorons in the Gerudo town, they're like, "Yeah, so I hear that they only let women in here," and then they get this look on their face like,
Right.
"Then why did they let me in here?"
So wait, they are dudes. I didn't know if they're just like asexual or something. Like they call each other brother. How do they reproduce?
They are guys. Which actually, now that I was thinking about this when we first started this episode, I was like, I don't know if I've ever seen a Goron woman.
No, I don't think there is.
Featured a Goron woman in the game.
In Ocarina of Time, when you meet the little Darunia's like son or whatever, when you're an adult, I think he says something like "My mom died a while ago" or something. But like, I don't think there's any like real reference to female Gorons, which is what I'm getting at. How do they what do they just lava rock shoots out and they're just turned into Gorons? Like, I'm curious. Oh, did you guys do the side quest where there's a guy, I think it's a shrine quest actually, and there's a guy whose brothers was hunting for the place, and he got stuck shoveling in, and you had to feed him, and you had to go down and get like a rock steak or something, and it looks like a chicken leg, but it's a rock.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
Yeah, you have to carry it all the way back up the hill, and there's enemies you have to avoid. You have to set it down and fight the enemies and pick it up, and
then it rolls down and burns if you mess up.
Yeah. One time I dropped it accidentally, and I couldn't stop it from rolling. It rolled all the way back down and landed in the lava. I had to start all over. I was like, oh. So then you give him the steak, and then he's like, oh, now I'm strong enough to beat through these rocks, and then he you end up finding the shrine back there. So that was a cool one.
I like that a lot.
Then one of the shrines was at the end of this long minecart track.
Oh yeah.
So you have to find the end of it, and you have to get on this minecart, and it's this metal cart, and the way I did it anyways, you have to stasis the cart and beat at it with your weapon, and then it'll shoot off and go along the track, and you have to keep doing it again 2 or 3 times to get it all the way to the end of the track.
Wait, the carts that you put bombs in?
Yeah, he stasised it.
Yeah, I use stasis for
Benner
Oh, that's
didn't
cool.
know
I didn't
about the
even
bomb
know.
thing.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know you could do that.
I didn't. You can put bombs in them?
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
little shoot in the back for
it
bombs.
It won't hurt you. It won't hurt you if you blow it up
Yeah.
too. It's meant for that.
Yeah, that's what I was talking
That's
about before,
funny,
because
man.
there's one of
That's
those in the
great.
castle. And
Right.
you just drop a bomb in the back, and it shoots you up the...
I had no idea you could put bombs in them. No, I used stasis and just broke 2 or 3 weapons getting through there.
That's cool though. That didn't work that
but
way.
Yeah,
I
it's
use
all
those
good, though.
carts
It's
for that
fine.
flying trick. So I a while, right when we first started playing the game, I put one of those big blocks on top of each other, and I got it to float a little bit. And I was like, oh, this is sweet. I'm gonna figure this out one day, right? And then I'm on YouTube or Twitter, and I see somebody flying machine Breath of the Wild, and I was like, are you kidding me? I should have focused on this and been the person to discover it, but that's all right. I ended up making a video of it anyway. But that's what I use those carts for.
Yeah, I saw your video. That was really cool. So yeah,
It is cool,
If
man.
you're listening and you want to see that, it's on JD's YouTube channel. It's pretty cool. He starts flying this thing around, and
yeah, it's really fun.
That's a cool one.
You can
Yeah,
glitch
for
a lot of stuff with that. So like, don't do it if you're trying. Like, don't ruin the game for yourself. But if you just want to kind of goof around and do something funny, you take a metal block and you put it in those mine carts and aim your magnesis at the cart while you're standing on top of the block, which is in the cart, and you'll float up. And if you do it right, you can steer it and float around.
Yep, pretty cool.
The only thing I was gonna say was this actually had one of the cooler moments in the game for me. So once you're done, the lizard takes aim at the castle. Daruk's kind of standing up there reflecting everything, like, I wonder if the Gorons are still doing all right. And he kind of looks down and he sees his ancestor down there, and like he looks up and he thinks he sees him too, and he's just like, yeah. So then they start waving at each other. It's like, that's really cool. So like he gets down there and like he's like he feels like he's more brave now because like I think I saw my ancestor up there, like this is great. So it seems like he's kind of coming into his own after that whole experience. So that was cool.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That was a really cool moment. I like that a lot.
It's a shame there wasn't more of those kind of cutscenes because some of them were actually really, really well done, despite what people say about the voice acting. I really liked them.
Yeah.
Also, the Goron massage is funny too, just to throw that in there. The sounds Link makes when he gets his Goron massage, like the same sound he makes when he's dying in the game. Yeah,
the voice acting is spotty for me. Some of it I thought was pretty good. Some of it not great. Wasn't a big fan of Zelda's voice, but she was all right. I don't know.
Yeah, she didn't bother me either way.
Yeah, but some of the other stuff was pretty good, I thought. So yeah, any other final thoughts before we wrap it up here?
Frankie's a Goron. Goro. I'm clearly Ganondorf because I got the same nose.
Saying Goro at the end of every sentence.
Yep. Yeah.
Right.
The D in JD actually stands for Dragmire. I don't know if anyone knew that, but
yeah. What was it? What did I say? Ganondorf somebody said Quagmire. I said something else. What was the other one? Ganondorf Quagmire.
Glendorf.
Glendorf Quagmire. Giggity giggity.
Who else but Dragmire?
Yeah. Like the episode where this might be inappropriate. You might have to edit it out, Bender. Sorry, but Meg goes to Quagmire because her boyfriend won't hook up with her, and he's like, "Hey, Meg, how you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, I just need some roofies." He's like, "Oh yeah, I got them right here."
It's like one of the earlier episodes, he goes up to Meg and Chris, and he's like, "Hey, Meg, 18 yet?" And she's like, "No." And he's like, "Hey, Chris, how you doing?" And Chris is like, "Well," and he's like, "All right." And he walks away.
Right.
Yeah, good times.
Oh yeah.
I love Family Guy.
Quagmire's chin for president.
All right, so this has been the Family Guy Spoilercast. No.
That's right.
All right. So with that, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. We appreciate you listening to episode 6 of Playing by the Hyrules. This was a really cool dungeon. I thought this was a good one. So I guess in the next episode, we're going to be talking about, what are we going to do? Some of our favorite shrines and the memories as well. Mm-hmm. Talk about that, and then we'll do an episode about Hyrule Castle. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, I think we're still trying to figure it out. But I think we were saying we still got to do our favorite shrines and shrines overall, the memories, which are like the cutscenes, and then obviously like the final push for Ganondorf. And I don't know if we're going to include our overall thoughts or not, but that's kind of what we were thinking about still talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely going to have just a summary discussion about our final thoughts about the game overall and everything, and what we hope to see with the Zelda franchise in the future. So we'll definitely throw that discussion in there too. So yeah, we appreciate you listening. Hope you enjoy the show. Let us, if you have any feedback, please email us at podcast@shortpause.com, or you can tweet at us at @theshortpause. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, I'm Bender_Guitar. You can find me on PlayStation Network and Nintendo Network at me_Bender. You can find me on Xbox Live at meBender82. And JD, where can people reach you?
Yeah, so if you want to find me on Twitter, I'm at PlayNListen, which is, for the podcast. But to be honest, I don't have a personal Twitter because I'm not a huge fan of it in general. I just use it for the sake of the podcast. So that's where you can find me. Yeah, and you can find me gaming on Xbox and PlayStation at Dayloon1989. And I think that's it, right?
What's your friend code?
Email you?
What's your friend code?
Oh, my friend code, yeah. If you guys want to, once there's some actual multiplayer stuff for Nintendo, just hit me up at, either at the Twitter or you can email me podcastplayandlisten@gmail.com and I'll gladly share it with you if you want to play some multiplayer stuff.
Frankie, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, Nintendo Network, Twitch, YouTube. Not YouPorn. I don't know where that rumor came from, but that's false. That's not me. It's an imposter.
You can find Frankie browsing on there. You just won't find him acting on there. Or was it the other way around?
Who really needs an account? Come on now. But that's all Viper Strike. VYPRSTRYKE.
Very good. So yeah, if you guys have any feedback or any stories you want to share about your experiences with the game, we'd love to hear them and discuss them on the show. So please email us, podcast@shortpause.com.
And you can stay anonymous. I know some people are kind of shy. Like, we don't have to say their name or whatever if they don't want to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. If you just want to, don't leave your name. or tell us you don't want us to say your name or whatever. We'll just, read your story, or if you have an experience from the game and that you want to hear us talk about on the air, and anything funny or cool that happened to you, we definitely want to hear about it because we love hearing those stories and talking about them and everything. So yeah, that's you can email us or tweet at us and then let us know. So we'll look forward to that. But that'll do it for this episode. So until next time, thank you so much for listening to Playing by the Hyrules, and we'll catch you next time.
So long.
See ya.
You're in Death Mountain, baby. You're gonna die.
Sha-na-na-na-na-na-knees.
In Death Mountain. Welcome to the mountain. It's gonna bring you down.
It's gonna burn you down.
All right.
Nice. Good one, JD. So
We've been dancing with Mr. Bolson. He's been building. All right, I'm done.
all right.